Welcome to RTV News. We start with the headlines. Political analysts following the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo believe that the international community should put pressure on the DRC government to comply with the peace agreement the country signed. Also coming up, Rwandans are happy that the number of COVID-19 cases reduced significantly towards the end of 2022 and that the country is 98% fully vaccinated. We're bringing you the latest from our studios in Kigali, Rwanda. I am Isabel Masozera, and we appreciate you keeping up with RTV News. Now, starting us off, political analysts following the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo believe that the international community should put pressure on the DRC government to comply with the peace agreements that the country signed and stop all collaborations with armed groups, including the FDRL, which continues to recruit new fighters into its ranks. Jessica Agasaro now reports.
After saying that the Congolese army FARDC are working with the armed group, including the terrorist FDLR, the report of the United Nations expert on what is happening in the east of the DRC also shows between July and September this year, the terrorist group of FDLR recruited up to 400 new fighters. The leaked report states that the new FDLR fighters are being welcomed in the training camps known as Paris Training Camp. That training is being carried out in locations Vibge, Luhunga, Kivuye, and elsewhere. The lawyers and analysts on the events in the eastern part of the DRC, Gasominari Jean-Baptiste, finds that the new fighters who have joined the FDLR in recent months are more than those mentioned in the UN report.
The FDLR did not recruit just 300 to 400 new fighters. The figure is probably more than 5,000. Because they are the ones fighting M23. All the Congolese army, FARDC, does is giving them weapons and trainings as well as information, but they are the ones fighting. They are recruiting people every day and have provided training facilities for them as well as weapons. I don't even know what the person who said 300 to 400 soldiers were thinking or how they came up with those figures, because they have never stopped bringing in new fighters or even stopped the trainings, be it for the old or new fighters, to increase their knowledge, and this has been happening in broad daylight.
This comes at a time when Rwanda continues to show that the FDLR is a threat to her security and the Great Lakes region as a whole, and requests the government of the DRC and its army, FARDC, to stop working with that group. However, the government of DRC continues to refuse to listen, and if anything, reports indicate that authorities in that country have brought in mercenaries or soldiers for hire to help in the war against the M23 group. The lawyer Mukamangoga Olivier, who closely monitors what is happening in that country, believes it sends a strong message to countries in the Great Lakes region and the international communities.
The facts are
that only one side, which is the M23, has shown a willingness to pull back and return captured territories. But there is no visible plan or anything else really on the part of Congo on the road to seek peace. As for the issue that mercenaries and others may be involved, well, as I said, it is rarely the case that Congo actually abides by the agreements it signs with others. So this is a time for countries in the region to reevaluate the behavior of the Congo and the international community so that real decisions can be made and the way for lasting peace to return to the eastern DRC.
This is where the researcher on what is happening in the Great Lakes region, Andrew Wallace, says that it is a shame to see most of the countries that continue to ignore the truth about what is happening in the east of the DRC and instead continue to fall into DRC's trap of blaming Rwanda instead of caring about the root of the problem.
Yeah, it's very, very disappointing, and it's actors in the West especially who have an axe to grind against Rwanda. And it's not really about M23. I think this is more about internal politics. There's a lot of people who have their own issues with Rwanda for other reasons, political reasons, and so this is just a bandwagon. I mean, I was looking through just recently some notes. I found about 2008, the conflict then when M23s first sort of started out, and the Laurent Nkunda affair. And back then there was a Washington think tank who said this. This is 2008, so 14 years ago. Without immediate and robust diplomatic pressure on the Congolese government and or impartial efforts by the UN peacekeepers to stop the fighting, the region could descend back to total war. My frustrations, I have to say, is looking at this from afar, is that so many international commentators have jumped on the usual bandwagon here. And we heard all this 10 years ago. And it's just replaying again. In fact, it's the same bandwagon, which is the sort of the anti-Rwandan bandwagon. And I listened recently to a podcast on Al Jazeera, usually a very good news site on the issue. And not once in the 20 minutes podcast did I hear the word Congolese government. The Congolese government was not mentioned, and yet it is in their country where this issue is happening. It is a Congolese issue, first and foremost.
This was also confirmed by the French journalist Jean-François Dupaquier, who says that Rwanda should not be included in the problems that concern the Congolese themselves.
Le véritable problème, c'est la prévalence de cette
The real problem is the ideology of hatred against the Tutsis that has continued to grow in recent months, fueled by the social media and the manipulation of the public for political gain. So it is important to fight against this ideology, and people are banned and punished because otherwise nothing will be achieved. The truth is that peace is built on good relationships, harmony and lasting coexistence, rather than taking one group of people and placing all the blame on them, victimizing them, and even worse, making excuses for what's happening.
On Wednesday of last week, the government of Rwanda issued a statement denouncing the accusation against it that is supporting the Congolese rebel group M23, saying that it will be a big mistake to identify measures that have been put in place to protect the country's sovereignty as those who meant to support any of the armed group operating in the Eastern DRC. Jessica Agasaro, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Jessica. Now moving on, Rwandans are happy that the number of COVID-19 cases significantly reduced towards the end of 2022 and that 98% of the population is fully vaccinated. Adam Squizera has more.
On March 14th, 2020, the Ministry of Health in Rwanda announced the first case of COVID-19 in the country. At that time, the Rwandan government immediately to fight this pandemic, where some of these measures included encouraging people to stay at home in order to prevent the spread of this pandemic. Since July 2021, there was a significant increase of this COVID-19 pandemic, with the highest number of cases and deaths, which led to a daily rate of over 1,000 cases and 15 death cases, which rose due to the outbreak of Omicron variant during the end of 2021, which hindered the local residents to celebrate holidays with their families as usual. It was very difficult at that time to move from one place to another by either visiting the family. But this year, all is good, since we are able to visit our families, because by that time, it wasn't possible due to the COVID-19 restrictions. However, vaccines became a sustainable solution for this pandemic, where in Rwanda, the COVID-19 vaccination program began in February 2021 for the people who were at the highest risk to get infected by the COVID-19. The figures, which are revealed by the Ministry of Health for the week of December 12th and 18th, 2022, show that Rwandans who received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine are 9.1 million, which are equivalent to 101.2%, and those who received the second dose are 8.9 million, equivalently to to 98.7%, while the booster dose was given to more than 5.6 million, who are equivalent to 61.4%, and the second booster dose was given to more than 366,000. Eme Uwimana, a gospel artist, noted that vaccination distribution impacted much to the recovery of various activities as well. We thank God that we got vaccines. As firstly, I thank God that we got vaccines, since the only thing we wanted is to get back to our normal life. Of all people who got infected by this COVID-19 pandemic, women were the majority, but men were the ones who hit the high death rate, whereas the statistics shows that 678 women have died, who are equivalently to 46.83%, compared to 780 men, who are equivalent to 53.17%. These figures from the Ministry of Health shows that those between the age of 30 to 39 were the most infected, with the 34,000 cases, while those aged 80 and above were less infected, but had the highest death cases, which that the residents across the country expressed their memories on COVID-19 pandemic. What I do remember about this COVID is the face mask, as the fact that my friends were infected by the pandemic, which made me to follow the measures so that I won't be infected too. The government of Rwanda on 13th March 2022 lifted down the mandatory of wearing face mask in public as prevention against COVID-19. Currently, the weekly report of the Ministry of Health revealed that between 1st and 6th October, there were 27 new cases with 0 death case, while in the following week, there were 32 cases, while between 14th and 20th November, the cases increased to 6 with the rate of 0.4%. Since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic in Rwanda, there were over 132,000 cases, while about 1,046 are the current death cases, as that over 131,000 were recovered. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
You're still watching RTV News. Now, 273 people died, 882 injured due to thunder strikes in the past 5 years. Now, Karongi and Rusiro districts are the most affected. The Ministry of Emergency Management states that research on this matter is ongoing. Prince Manzi unpacks more.
Celestin Munyaneza, a Rutsiro district resident, and his wife Genevieve Naugashira accounted an issue when in the last 2 years a lightning struck dead their son of 19 years.
The
3 children were sleeping in their room, and we had a strike like a bomb, and the house distracted a bit. And the next thing we saw was that our son was gone. When I think of him and how he would be in senior 6, this saddens me.
We just spent the whole day together, cultivating, and we reached home. He had grasses for the cow. He gave them to eat. We went to sleep alive. That is how it ended.
This is the same with Isidore Nezirizaza, who in the past 2 weeks lost his 4-year-old son to lightning while at home. We were at home, me, my wife, and our neighbor's child, and the lightning struck only my son. I remained with my wife and that neighboring child. These citizens were affected by these natural calamities, question why there are districts highly affected than others. We hear rumors that it is because of the gas in Kivu. There's a lot of lightning in this area.
We had a TV, decoder, and antenna installed. They were struck and everything burnt.
Lightning is an electric charge produced in air while raining and demonstrated by crashing noise after a flash. Eme Adrien Izaimana, a disaster management officer in Rutsiro district, elaborates on how this happened. One can be standing like this, one leg like this, and another one like this. When the lightning strikes through this leg and continues into this leg and proceeds in the land and continues, one definitely dies. That is why animals are mostly struck by lightning. The lightning strikes through the arms and legs and the animal dies. Why is Rutsiro district highly affected by lightning? The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Emergency Management, Philippe Abishuti, states that there are researches ongoing on the reason behind this. This is one of the places highly affected by the lightning in the world. This place has a higher height above sea level. It might be one of the reasons, but there are other reasons to be presented by researchers, because it does not have taller hills than other places, and there are also other places highly struck and lacking taller mountains. This is a research to be done. This official requests citizens to align with the measurements established by those in charge of emergency management for prevention against lightning strikes. While sheltering from rain, they should not shelter under poles and trees, not using metallic umbrellas, and also not using electronic devices when it's raining. Another thing is that, like in schools, installing lightning prevention devices, it costs 4 million, a price that is not high compared to the 1,500 or 2,000 people. The Ministry of Emergency Management demonstrates that in the last 5 years, 2018 to 2022 in Rwanda, lightning struck dead 273 people, 882 people injured, 37 houses destroyed, 404 cows died, and 127 other domestic animals. In Karongi district, 28 people died, in Nyaruguru 27 people, Burera 18 people, and 17 people in Rutsiro district. In the last 10 years, Rutsiro district had a higher number of 51 people dead, meaning that 2/3 of people that die in the country are due to lightning strikes. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince. We now move on to education matters. Now, various teachers say that using Umwalimu Sacco Financial Institution has fueled their development. Now, the Umwalimu Sacco Financial Institution promises to continue enhancing the service it offers to its clients in a bid to reduce and resolve any issues that might persist. Olivon Tete has this report.
Mukachirezi Evangelist, who lives in the district of Gasabo, is a member of the savings and credit institution Umwalimu Sacco, initiated for teachers. For the moment, she no longer exercises this teaching profession, but recognizes the role of this financial institution in her current development. This institution helped me to build the house after having tried for so long without success. It also allowed me to set up another project to manufacture cleaning equipment, which I'm currently working on. Uwambaje Laurence, the Director General of Umwalimu Sacco, points out that the institution supports its members to ensure that the credits granted are used for the useful purposes of the beneficiaries.
The methodology we use to give them loans, for example, someone who is asking for construction loans, we make sure that they have made that construction through different steps. We can't give him the total amount he requested at once. We give him into installment, so check what they are able to save using the loans they have. They don't do the construction only, but they do also some businesses. And those businesses benefit them, so as when they come to ask another loan, we don't only base on the salary they have, but also the income they are generating from their businesses.
The Umwalimu Sacco Financial Institution currently has 122,000 members, which are mainly teachers. In its beginnings, the cooperative could grant about 70 million Rwandan francs, while currently credits goes up to more than 110 billion Rwandan francs. Olive Nete, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Olive. Now, staying with education matters. Recently, after increasing the salary of teachers, the government of Rwanda funded 5 billion Rwanda francs, and that was extended to Umwalimu Sacco, a financial institution that works primarily with teachers to support and promote teachers' development. Now, in an interview with RBA, the Director General of Umwalimu Sacco reiterated the benefits gained through the fund.
You have got from the government of Rwanda has raised our capacity to give loan to our members, and that capacity benefited also to our members because when they come to the circle to ask for loans, they have been able to get those loans with the capacity we had. Normally, before the increase of salary for teachers, we have planned to disburse loans about 98 billion. But since the increase of the salaries, we have been able to grant around 137 billion as credit to members, which means that 5 billion has come as an addition to the capacity we had at that time and the capacity we get on the loan repayment of every month so that we can cope with the request of the members.
Also in this regard, the Director General of Umwari Musako notes that they are currently involving technology in their systems to enhance the services and provide better for their clients.
Said the technology, it's a journey, and we have also to go through that journey so that we can remain online, if I can say. For example, in 2019, we introduced the digital product called mobile banking. We have also loan product. They also come to branches for loan product. So we thought if there is another way, we can also resolve that way through using technology. On that time, we introduced also the credit line, which is an overdraft loan. They take on every month. It is paid on monthly basis, but every month they had to come to branches to get that loan, which was cumbersome for them, transport costs and the time consuming. But when introduced the credit line, they have to get it on their phone without having to come or without having to use transport costs. This have changed their life. We are also introducing what we are launching tomorrow officially, the emergency loan on phone. This is a product normally which is emergency. It's an urgent product. When they come here at branches, even when they come at branches, they get it in 3 minutes, 5 minutes, they can get it. But we thought if it can be also put on phone because it is fully covered by their savings. So it's the one we are introducing tomorrow.
Now moving on to health news, residents of Nyagatare district appreciate that ever since the Nyamirama Health Post customer service was improved, the number of malaria cases reduced. Now Nyagatare administration has pointed out that the measures to fight against malaria across the district will be strengthened. We go to Prince Manzi for this report.
This is the Nyamirama Health Post that was improved in terms of services, and it acquires citizens from Nyamirama, Nyagashanga, and Nyarutobu South of Karangazi sector. Citizens say that even though there are other measurements set to fight against malaria, such as sleeping under the mosquito nets, among others, the Nyamirama Health Center takes care of many of the malaria patients.
When one is sick, he comes first to this health post before it's too late. People used to stay in their home because of a long distance.
We no longer encounter malaria. We sleep under the mosquito nets. We also have this health post. When women go for a checking, they give them mosquito nets. We have no malaria issue.
The health post is now near. It used to be far and find it difficult to go there.
Nyagatare district appreciates that in general, numbers of malaria patients deducted as in 2015, patients were 250,896, while in the last 3 months of 2022, there were found only 6,388, including 38 patients who consulted the Nyamirama Health Post. The Vice Mayor of Nyagatare in charge of social affairs, Juliet Murekatete, states that improving the capacities of health posts is a continuing milestone towards fighting against malaria.
This is really a great milestone achieved of improving the capacity of health posts because it is in the favor of the citizens. About malaria, it also helped because these posts usually take care of pregnant women, and they are usually highly affected by malaria. Our goal is to transform first-generation health centers into second-generation health centers.
The statistics of the Rwanda Biomedical Center demonstrate that in 2007, before the measurements such as the mosquito repellents and improving the health center's capacities, almost 50% of malaria patients in the country were from Nyagatare district. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
That's it for today, but in a special way, I want to thank the team that makes this happen. It takes a village, reporters, producers, directors, and so much more, cameramen and women, to bring you the latest every single day. So I want to appreciate them. I'm Isabel Masozera. Do keep it RwandaTV.